As the electrical engineer, I've been tasked with creating all the electrical documentation for the pick-and-place design. This includes high-level overview drawings, all the detailed schematics, and of course, the bill of materials, the from-to-wire report, and even a wire label list. Before I dive into the details at the schematic level, I'm going to jumpstart the project by selecting a custom template. This includes all of our wire standards, title blocks, as well as many other configurations that I simply don't want to edit every time I start a new project. Additionally, there are portions of this project that are similar to previous designs. I'd like to reuse them as much as I can. I don't have to search through old files to find circuits to copy and paste. I use macros. This way, I can store entire schematics or sections of schematics. All of our team's macros are stored in a collaborative database so that anyone can reuse them. And it's not just the symbols and wires being added. Macros also include all the manufacturer part information, which will track through to the bill of materials. I just received word that there's an engineering change in the works. We're swapping in a more efficient motor based on Andrew's analysis. In the past, these types of changes would happen all the time. And somehow on the electrical side, I was always the last to find out. Jordan, who is in charge of making this change, can edit the component's part information, which is connected to the electrical schematic. I simply run a report to verify all the connections, which ensures the appropriate cable and wire information for the new motor. This new collaborative environment between the mechanical and electrical teams helps us avoid cost and risk of expensive errors when we get to fabrication. To make my life even easier, if the motor symbol hasn't been inserted into the schematic yet, the manufacturer part information can also contain the associated symbol. I find the motor in my component tree, I select Insert Symbol. This may not seem like a big deal, but this really helps our team standardize on our symbol sets and avoid unnecessary confusion. Besides the motors, there are a lot of other components that are required to make this machine work. All of the breakers, the contactors, the drives and sensors, just to name a few. Jordan has already inserted most of the solid parts into the assembly, which helps me out tremendously. Unfortunately, he doesn't know the ID for each component, which is proximity sensor 1 versus proximity sensor 2. Conveniently, I have access to the assembly through the collaborative connection, which allows me to associate component IDs to the appropriate solid part. This is extremely important when trying to troubleshoot or revise the design, making it easier to identify and change components as required. Now, the association between the electrical and mechanical design is near complete. I plan on routing the wires and cables between all the components to capture accurate length information. The components that I am routing between need to be what I like to call electrically intelligent. To do this, I simply insert connection points into each model, which coincidentally correlate back to each symbol within the schematic. And I only have to do this once, as the intelligence is saved within the model. Next, I create a guideline to suggest how the wire should route through the assembly. The Route Wires command does the hard work of generating the detailed 3D sketch paths, including calculating all the wire lengths. It's 3D wiring without the overhead of 3D modeling. If desired, I can choose to generate solid wires. I have flexibility to create as much detail as I need. Back over in the electrical side, it's time to produce my reports. With just a few clicks, I automatically have my bill of materials, my from-to-wire report, and wire label list. In the past, we've always left it to the guys on the shop floor to figure out individual wire lengths. But as we try to reduce waste and streamline our entire development process, SOLIDWORKS Electrical's ability to predict wire length has proven to be a powerful addition. From this point forward, it looks like we're in great shape. If anyone else in the design team surprises me with last-minute changes, I simply update the report and ensure all the changes are captured on the electrical side. Otherwise, I check the project into PDM and get ready for my next task.